over 10 degrees, and that's 10 degrees Celsius. So for mid-October it's another very warm day, and Mr. J and I we've really cracked on with stuff today, which has been lovely. It's evening, so we've got that fabulous evening glow of sunshine across the place. And this morning my daughter and the grandchildren came over and we had a great time. We split logs with the children, and I pulled them around on the little carts that I use for gardening, and we just generally had a chat and a catch up, and it was all good. And then I pointed out that I'm always a bit of a party pooper like this, but I pointed out that there's a storm brewing, not in our house, around our house. There is a hurricane or a storm, or Ophelia is out at sea, and it's due to hit the southwest part of Ireland anytime soon. And then, although the Category 3 storm won't actually be a Category 3 by the time it gets here, it is still going to get mighty windy. And tonight, overnight, we are due winds of 45 to 50 miles per hour with gusts of more than that. So we need to, we're not quite batten down the hatches, but we certainly need to make sure that as I'm looking around I can see, plastic food containers on top of empty bird houses and things like that. So those all need to be put away. And I certainly wanted to do something about the tarpaulin that was on top of the covered walkway. You know how not very long ago I put the tarpaulin up there and was so delighted, and then within a week the wind had started to rip it down. Well, today we've done something a little more permanent. Around the side of the stable, the bit that faces the piggeries and blah blah blah. Anyway, around the side of the stable there was a large twin wall polycarbonate sheeting that we'd put up as a kind of window stroke bit of wall, and we've taken that down and I've replaced it with two old windows that I was given by my next door neighbour, and I thought they'd just be perfect for the job, and they fit. Well, sort of. So at the top I've screwed them in at the hinges, and at the base they are just resting on this, and it's a little bit rattly on this side, so I've put a screw in to stop it coming forward, and I've kind of jammed them together here so neither one's going anywhere, and this one is very firmly resting on there. So that I'm quite pleased with, and it makes it much lighter in the stable. And my reason for faffing around and taking down the polycarbonate sheeting and putting out the windows is that around here on the covered walkway, this is where the tarpaulin was, and no longer, because we had the one sheet of old polycarbonate stuff there, and we now have a sheet of ply and the other polycarbonate sheet that was where the windows are now, and another piece of ply. Now I know that the plywood is certainly not the ideal material to have on the roof, because it's just going to get soaked with the rain, and the ply is going to start coming apart. But this weather is due to be pretty unpleasant, and I really do want to have a covered area that's fairly dry in the walkway here. And you can see, I guess it's getting lighter and darker. It's really lovely in here actually, but I want a dry bit, not for the chickens now, but to keep the ground dry, because having covered it in some really rather lovely wood chippings, I don't particularly want these to get completely sodden through with rain, and we just ignore the stingers growing down that side. I do want some of this to stay dry, so about half their covered walkway is now covered, and you can see plywood, plastic, plywood, plastic, and that's great. I'm really pleased with how Well, you know, what a good afternoon's work. So we are very definitely starting to get everything in place for the autumn, late autumn and winter, and it feels so nice. Sorry about Squeaky, he's practicing his crowing. Yeah, so it feels really nice to just be doing some of those jobs that we sort of said, oh, before the winter we must do, and now we're doing them. And so before that beautiful sun goes down over the horizon, Mr. J and I need to go and pick up all the plastic chaos that's in the garden. What is she doing? Oh dear. Nice.